Welcome to Not Just a Transaction, the podcast series hosted by experienced real estate authorities Nick Prefontaine and Zachary Beach. Each week, the hosts bring you expert guests to help you navigate the many creative options available for buying or selling a home, while cutting out the costly hurdles of a conventional real estate deal. Good morning and welcome to another exciting episode of Not Just a Transaction. I'm your host, Nick Prefontaine, and joined along with me this week is both Steve and Lisa Shepard. Steve and Lisa Shepard, very interesting. Steve, you and I going back, this probably goes back, I would say 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer than that. At this point, you were inquiring about properties of ours as a buyer.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then as of 2 years ago, January of 2020, we actually decided to work together for one of our rental home properties. And over the past year, both you and Lisa have become an integral part of our team at Pre-Property Solutions. So I think you can provide a lot of insight for the listeners out there, both as a buyer and then as someone who's a core member of our team, as we begin to build this thing out and grow and to help and affect more lives of families across New England. So welcome to the show, Steve and Lisa.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate you inviting us today, Nick.
Is there anything I missed in that introduction? I was just really riffing and going off of basically all of our past history and experience that we've had together, but I might be underestimating it in number of years. Am I not?
Actually, yeah, you are. I first actually came across Pre-Property Solutions back in 2014, the beginning of 2014, actually. I saw a couple of your listings. We were looking to move to the Worcester area, and we came across a property that you were selling in Holden, Mass, and that's where we first met up. And we were when I first saw the listing, I was like, this is too good to be true. That you'll provide a home in a nice neighborhood, and the property was in great condition, move-in condition, and you'll take payments for it. And you'll do a rent to own. So that was very intriguing to us. And we really were excited when we went and saw the property and we had a conversation with you. But it just, that particular property was a little bit too far from Worcester for us.
For what we needed at the time, because our daughter was going to school in Worcester. She was going to Assumption College, and she needed to commute. So we needed something a little bit closer to Assumption. But we were very, very excited about the program, very intrigued about it. And so we kept an eye on the program. We, throughout the years, we kept an eye on it. Steve definitely kept an eye on it. And from time to time, he would say, "Oh, Lisa, come look at this property. Come look at this property." And so it's just funny how things, you just never know what life is going to bring to you and in front of you. At the time, everything happens for a reason. And I think there's a time for everything. And the way everything has come together for us, I think timing is everything. But you all were always, your program was always an option for us. And so when the time was right, we actually decided to, go ahead and purchase a property. So when the timing was right for us, you were there, you were still there. And so that was exciting. And,
And I remember it very clearly that I actually met you at the property on New Year's Day. 2020, before all this craziness started with COVID and everything else. So
Right,
That's right.
right.
It's hard to imagine life before, but that was I can't believe it's coming up on, it'll be 2 years, January of 2022, but that it's been like a time warp with COVID.
It
And
really has.
2 years, it doesn't even seem like that. It just, anyway, I think we may be getting a little off track. So just but that's great. Yeah, Steve, you and I, we've had plenty of conversations over the years, and it just, for whatever reason, it wasn't the right fit. And then we finally found something that was a good fit for you. So I'm happy we were able to start working together. And then that relationship, as you as a buyer of ours, that definitely grew. Because over the course of the last year, and Steve, you or Lisa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is it over the course of the past year, about that time frame?
Yes, it's been close to about a year. We started
Okay.
out by
I think it was October or November of last year.
right, but we started out with the QLS Live that we attended with you.
Mhm.
And I was excited to see how excited Lisa was about it. Okay, and she was like, Steve, I really think I would love to learn more
Well,
about.
let's give a little context, because we're talking inside baseball here. Because I think what I was referring to is you guys are now integral team members of Pre-Property Solutions, and work with our acquisition team, basically heading that up. So acquiring properties, talking to people that are in a situation where they need Pre-Property Solutions help. So that has really grown over the past year or so. None of us, I think maybe I saw a glimmer of it. Steve and Lisa, I saw a glimmer of it from our conversations that we had, Steve, over the years, that you said, look, I used to be involved in I'm familiar with investing and that kind of thing. And
Mhm.
I think there was a glimmer there, that a little insight into the future. But um, so that's really, I just wanted to give a little context to the listeners, because I mean, I could have a conversation with you two all day long, and we could just talk, and I felt like that's the direction that the conversation was going. So I just wanted to clue all the listeners in as to what it is we were talking about, if that makes sense.
It does. It definitely does. Um, so we with the acquisitions team as a seller specialist, we've been learning quite a bit and growing as far as the ability to, first of all, you provide us with enough training, enough support, that to the point that we feel comfortable in making phone calls and looking to acquire some of these properties. It seems like a good fit for us, especially now, like we were talking about with what happened with COVID and everything. It allows us to work from home. It allows us to look to help others and tell others about what you've provided for us as a family. Okay, it's really changed our lives.
Awesome. So I think, Lisa, do you have anything to add to that? Because I know you always have more thought out answers than Steve.
Well, sure. Steve talked about the support and training, and it's ongoing. The support is definitely ongoing. The training is ongoing. There's always something new to learn and to there's always something new to learn. There's always support there whenever we need support, information. And so we felt very comfortable, and we felt like part of the family. And so that's why we are continuing to work with Pre-Property Solutions, because it feels like a family, and that's what we appreciate. And you and the team have been the same from the very first time we met you up until now. You guys have been constant and the same. And so we really do appreciate that.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. So I think this is a little non-conventional of doing these interviews like we usually have them on. Like I was prepping you before the show, we usually do who you are, what do you do. So I think we really covered the who you are, and we started touching on the what do you do. Um, Maybe if there's anything you think we missed about what it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, if you can clue the listeners into that.
Sure. So on a day-to-day basis, we are provided with leads that we make phone calls on, whether it be sellers. We work with sellers either for sale by owner or withdrawn listings, expired listings. We get in contact with them, and we discuss, the way we buy and on terms, and we try to figure out if there's some way that we can assist them in any way in them selling their properties. It's been quite a great learning experience. A lot of people have never heard of the way we buy, and so they're it's opening up options for them. When it's sort of like a light bulb goes off in their head, like, oh, well, this might be a great way for me to sell my property. And so it's just exciting to hear, to work with sellers that, that we're able to provide that service to. And so we make a lot of phone calls. We talk to a lot of different people, and it's that's what we do.
Well, awesome. I think you alluded, I'm just connecting the dots a little bit for the listeners. I think you alluded to it at the beginning, Steve, where when you first learned about this being an option, you first off didn't know it was an option, and you were kind of thinking it was too good to be true. Now that you're on the other side of that and you're working with us, how is that satisfying or gratifying to you to see that light bulb go off in other people's minds and other people's conversations, much like it did for yourselves dating back a few years ago?
Absolutely. So many people that I speak with, they one of the comments they'll always make to me is, I never knew that this was an option. I never knew that this was a possibility. So, and you speak to quite a few people. We're usually calling for sale by owners, by sellers, or expired listings, or listings from withdrawn, where they've been withdrawn from the realtor. And a lot of times you'll hear them state that, you know what, I really don't want to have to pay the realtor's fee, number one. The second thing that you'll hear is they weren't satisfied with how the realtor went about trying to sell the property. They feel like they were in over their head when they went to try and sell it themselves. And we're providing an option for them to still be able to sell the home, not have to pay those additional fees, and walk away netting more out of their investments, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, of course it makes sense to me, Steve. I do this with you I do this with you guys every day. But if yeah, it's amazing to me. It's very gratifying to see that light bulb, because we work with people, both of us do.
Mhm.
You and Lisa and myself and Zach, that goes for Zach as well, and the rest of the team, that it's so gratifying to see that light bulb go off, like, oh, this sounds like too good to be true. This is amazing that this is even an option for me at this point in my life. I felt like I was stuck before. So it's gratifying to see that light bulb go off in other people. Um, awesome. So I think as we kind of wrap this up, what so as you're doing this, and
Mhm.
as this has evolved over the years for you, like you said, Lisa, everything happens for a reason. It happens in its own timing. It happens in due time. It doesn't all necessarily have to happen at once when you think you need it, but it'll unfold when you're ready. Um, life will unfold when you're ready for the opportunity. Doing what you're doing now, why do you, and I think this is the final question that everyone's waiting for. They're on the edge of their seats right now. Why do you give a shit? Why does it matter to you that you're able to help people offering this solution where they didn't know it existed?
It matters to me, or I should say us, because we were one of those people that we had gone through some major losses around 2008. And it was pretty devastating to us as a family. We were slowly trying to come back, but we never really came back as strong as we were back then. We lost a lot, and so, but we knew that we still wanted to be homeowners. And there isn't a lot of sympathy out there for people who, at no fault of their own, have lost everything and they're trying to, rebuild their lives. There's not a lot of sympathy out there for people who are in that position. But we knew we wanted to be homeowners again. And this was a perfect opportunity for us to start that rebuilding process. We still, needed to rebuild as far as financially, emotionally, socially. This was an opportunity for us to get back in the game, as you if you want to say. And so we've been very grateful and with the opportunity to be able to do that, to rebuild, and to also, be able to acquire some of the wealth that we lost, because we'd like to be able to pay it forward. We'd like to be able to help somebody else be able to rebuild the way we did. Be able to help somebody, try to get back some of what they've lost. And so this opportunity here for us is, that's why we're doing this, because it's we're very grateful, and this has allowed us to try to accomplish some of our goals going forward.
Awesome. Steve,
Yeah,
you were itching to say something.
right. And I mean, we care or give a shit because because it means something to help others. I mean, how it's just the opportunity to be able to show someone or state to someone, listen, I've been where you are. I understand what you're going through. And pre-property has a system that can get you where you want to go. If you follow their lead, if you do what they ask of you, you can definitely get to where you're trying to get to. As a buyer, I can definitely say that's a plus. And your communication is tremendous. Your systems are tremendous. And I'm not just saying this, but because we're living proof of that.
Steve, we should do a call every Friday morning if you want to continue to give me all these great compliments. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
No, I'm just being a little funny, but yeah, we care. We care about helping people like you guys, buyers and sellers out there. We care. So I think it's important for the listeners to hear that. And I think you can come at it from both sides of the coin, both sides of the fence, so to speak, being a client, being a buyer that bought through our rent to own program and is on the path to home ownership, and also working as an integral part of the team now over the past year or so. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Did we miss anything, do you guys think, Steve and Lisa? Do you think we missed anything?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. All right. So if you are a seller out there that's interested in learning about some of the options, the solutions that we can provide to you, head on over to our website, prepropertysolutions.com. I believe it's /podcast. You can fill out a contact us form. Someone from our team will be in touch with you. And then if you're a buyer that's interested in becoming another success story like Steve and Lisa, head on over to that same website, prepropertysolutions.com, and make sure you're watching the video that we have right on the homepage that goes over how our program works. And then feel free to check out our properties, and we'd love to help you out real soon. As we come to a close, thank you, Steve and Lisa, for joining us. And that was another exciting episode of Not Just a Transaction. Look forward to talking to everyone real soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
Nick.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Not Just a Transaction. If you want to learn more on selling a home, buying a home, or resources to learn more, head on over to our website at originalre.com.